Hi, my name is Kerstin. Today I'll be talking about task 4, which is the internship reflection. So going through preparing for my internship, when I first found AWD digital internship, I applied for it because it had options for design and code. So around that time, I was only fairly interested in interactive design or web design. So throughout the uni semesters, I would focus on these specializations and try to hone in my skills that could cater to this. So that included working on coding, working on my graphic design, working on UI UX design, and then experience design. Moving on to when I actually started the internship, and throughout those 8 weeks, some of the skills that I had some basis on was UI design and branding. I only had very soft skills in this. I wasn't too experienced, but I was comfortable working with Adobe XD, and I was fairly comfortable making my own websites. So the first half of the internship focused on UI and design, whereas the second half consisted of coding and front-end development of these designs. So some of the skills explored during these times were UI design, prototyping, front-end development, information architecture, and UX design itself. So throughout those 8 weeks, I reckon after the first 4 to 5 weeks, when I was able to start coding and working on development, was where I really started to grow at AWD Digital. I was able to code the website that I had designed, which was Equip website, and I spent the first 4 weeks designing Equip and working on the desktop design, which took me a while because I wasn't quite used to the industry standard. As a technical skill itself, coding was not my strongest skill, and I was not completely comfortable with coding, as I was lacking knowledge with JavaScript, and I only kind of knew HTML and CSS, and I knew that would not take me as far as I needed it to take me. However, after working at AWD Digital and being given the opportunity to code, I was able to properly develop a functioning website through Bootstrap 4. And Bootstrap 4 provided a skeleton and a bit more stability in my design that would not be achievable if I had, say, coded it straight from scratch without using that design system. Some of the challenges that I went through by doing this was that I was constantly iterating over my code. I was making mistakes and I kept having to go back to clean it up. So it was kind of a 2 steps forward, 1 steps back kind of situation. I had poor UI skills that weren't strong enough for AWD standards, so I was constantly having to kind of reassure myself or check up on my supervisor to just strengthen those elements, whether that was really small stuff like button design or just the overall project itself. Another big challenge was working remotely, kind of stunted my efficiency. I was not able to bounce ideas with other co-workers, and it kind of slowed down my work pace. And as well as lacking confidence in front-end development, because I had never had this much experience condensed in coding on it. So to address these challenges and improve myself during the internship, I had to set myself up a proper routine to combat the difficulties that I had working remotely. Some of these things were just minor setbacks to my normal routine. I really had to change my attitude and my approach to things in order to work efficiently at home. So that took a few weeks to adapt to, but that wasn't the big technical challenge of the internship. Challenges that were more academic were combated with transparency between my supervisor and other co-workers, proper communication and collaborating with other designers in different departments to really understand the project goals and requirements. I was happy to be prepared with issues that needed to be addressed because I was able to create that feedback loop, and it really helped me streamline my work as well as theirs. And then being proactive and organizing sessions to speak with people higher up in order to gauge opinion and to see if there was any room for improvement. So I really tried to stand up, get the feedback that I needed, and not be so worried about asking for advice. Because if I had not asked, I think my work would have gone a lot slower and it would have ended up in worse results. So talking about learning in a professional environment, Interning at AWD, I realised that learning was quite fast-paced and much more sustaining than what I was learning at university. So for example, I spent one day refreshing myself on Bootstrap 4, and once having done that, I was able to code to my best abilities and bring any issues to surface with my supervisor. And some of the things I learned through this feedback loop would not have been possible with lectures or tutorials or reading or book learning. So I was able to learn how to properly navigate the inspect element on browsers, and that made working with code a lot easier because I could see my changes live. I could look at other people's code through this as well, and I had to learn how to manage code and learn other ways of approaching a problem without producing future problems for future development, such as mobile development. My future endeavours with design. So interning at AWD really made me progressively grow more interested in front-end development. As a student, I kind of never enjoyed coding as it was confusing and had no basis or structure. However, coming into this internship and leaving, I am able to structure my work correctly, and I do understand fundamentally how the code works, so it makes my work more engaging and it does push me to challenge myself more. Whereas in uni, I didn't understand the basis of it, and it just created more confusion rather than satisfaction with my work. So I would love to take this skill into my future work endeavours as having front-end development as an extra skill on top of my design skills. I'm sure that will be highly beneficial for me, whether that's in coding my own website or freelancing or just offering up that extra skill to employers, as I think it would be highly regarded. Some of the lessons I would love to take from AWD Digital was that I really need to continue to iterate and not be so scared to iterate and make mistakes, as well as address them, because it did lead me to new skills and knowledge that ended up being so useful for me and made me more confident in the work that I could do. I wanted to embrace the environment and interact with it, and I did this because AWD is quite a small company, I was able to really kind of talk to everyone, touch base with everyone, whether that was in marketing, someone in sales, and it really benefited me because I had the chance to talk to them. And I know that in a higher company there'd be thousands of people and they wouldn't have time to really engage with you, but every time I got to go into the office, I was especially happy to have lunch with them or touch base with them or jump in on meetings that they had to really get the worth out of the internship. And then lastly, I developed a kind of do-it energy so that I don't think about it, I don't overthink it, and as long as I'm proactively doing something, I know that results will come up. So yeah, thank you for listening, and I appreciate you giving your time to listen to this presentation. Thank you.